and I think they want to try to come back in the league in the near future, but we'll wait and see how that goes. But for this season, it is a 5-team league. That's 3 against the Oilers and only 1 against the Chinooks.
And the Oilers, after those 2 games against the Panthers, they're going to be on the road all the way out. They're going to play, 10 games in 6 days.
And this one's going to be slapped to third base, and Angelo Armenta diving to his knees, able to throw out McCarthy Tatum at first base.
Now batting center fielder number 27, Steven Sensley.
So here comes to Steven Sensley, who leads the league in home runs and RBIs. Has 5 home runs, 26 RBIs. Strike that's 25 RBIs. That's 4 ahead of Jake Scudder here on the minors. Scudder in second place. The 0-1 taken inside, evens up the count. This is an 8-game homestand. Or strike that. It's a 9-game homestand. As this one broken bat sent to second base. Levi Jordan will throw it on over to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Goes the Bucs. So we will now head to the bottom half of the first when the Matsu Miners come to bat on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Welcome back to Herman Brothers Field. The Matsu Miners will be coming to bat. So here's the starting lineup for the home team Matsu Miners. Jacob Huey leading things off. He will be DHing. Levi Jordan bats second. He'll also be playing second base. Jake Scudder batting third. He'll be playing first. Michael Donadio getting the start in left field today, batting cleanup. Garrison Shorts batting fifth, playing right field. Angelo Armenta batting sixth. He will play third. Josh Bissonette playing short, batting seventh. Andy Cosgrove will bat eighth. He will be doing the catching this evening. And Brooks Sottler rounding up the order, batting ninth and playing center field. And on the mound for the Anchorage Bucs is going to be Brody Robinson out of Cal Baptist University. First pitch from Robinson taken down low, ball one. Brody Robinson this year, this will be his 5th start. He's 1-0 with a 4.09 ERA. 1-0 again misses.
This is the first time that we are seeing Huey leading off a ball game. I like it. We saw the lineup earlier tonight. I like how it looks. 3-0 now on Huey, but he swings the hot bat. And if you want a little spark there in the leadoff hole, why not Huey?
So here comes the 3-0 from Robinson. And that one just catches the outside part of the plate. Not the pitch Huey wanted, but nonetheless, it is called a strike. Here comes the 3-1. This one misses inside ball 4. So a leadoff walk issued by Brody Robinson. And just like the Bucs in the top of the first, the Miners have their leadoff man aboard.
Now batting your second baseman, number 1, Levi Jordan.
But this time it is via the base on balls instead of ball 4. But that's just something the Miners will do. They're not afraid to take their walks. They're patient up at the plate. But at times you'll see them being aggressive. But right now they're showing some patience at the plate as Robinson struggling to find the strike zone so far. Only thrown 5 pitches. And that other one, that one strike,
It was a close one.
was a close one as well. But this one called a strike on Levi Jordan, playing second base here today. Levi Jordan hitting .308. 4 doubles, 11 RBIs. And a pickoff attempt over at first. Huey just getting back in time. He kind of froze over there at first base when Robinson was throwing in that direction, but he was able to get back in time. So here comes the 0-1 from Robinson, and this one fouled back. This is the 5th game started for Jacob Huey at least in the batting lineup. But he's on first base right now. Not sure what kind of speed he brings to the table. He is leading off, so I imagine he has some kind of speed. As this one's going to be sent to second base. Castle's going on to second for 1. That's all they're going to get. It was not a hard enough hit ball to Castles. So they get the lead runner, Huey, out at second base, and Levi Jordan on with the fielder's choice.
Now batting your first baseman, number 22, Jake Scudder.
So 4-6 fielder's choice. And that brings up Jake Scudder to the plate. Scudder hitting .248 this season, 2 home runs, 21 RBIs. We mentioned the 21 RBIs is second to Steven Sensley. And that's going to be a balk called on Brody Robinson as he's going to argue. But he disagrees, and here comes the Bucs skipper. And it looks like he gets his reasoning as he heads back to the dugout. But it will be a balk, so Levi Jordan in scoring position, 1 out. Bucs skipper Anthony Heading, who was the manager of the yellow squad during the ABL All-Star game, skipper Ben Taylor for the Miners for the blue team. And the first pitch sent to second base. Castle's only play at first. Now 2 outs as Levi Jordan advances to third on the 4-3 ground out.
Now batting your left fielder, number 26, Michael Donadio.
So Michael Donadio will be the next man up. Donadio getting the start in left field here today, hitting .333, 4 doubles, 2 triples. Does not have a home run, but 15 RBIs. Donadio, one of the later players to arrive to the ball club. And he's been a very important get for this ball club as he is hitting .333 in 22 games. The 0-1 check swing. He did not go around, says third base umpire Silas Straden. Brad Polk calling the balls and strikes. Justin Phillips over at first, and like I mentioned just a second ago, Silas Straden over at third. The 1-1 from Robinson, taken up high and away, 2-1. Miners recently had their 7-game winning streak snapped on Saturday against the Pilots. Miners had an off day yesterday, but back in action here today as the Miners open up a 3-game series against the Anchorage Bucs. This one misses outside. 3-1 now is the count. Garrison Shorts awaits on deck. And the 3-1 pitch. Taking inside, call to strike. Donadio thought he may have had ball 4. But he comes on back. Not a bad take by Donadio on the 3-1 pitch, but it does catch the inside part of the plate. So we got a 3-2 count, runner on third base, 2 outs, and the pitch going to be swung on, hit down to first. That's a fair ball, and Reynolds unable to make the play. The Miners will score the first run of the ball game. So that will be an error on Cody Reynolds.
Now batting your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
As Garrison Shorts, the general, will be the next man up. Garrison takes that first pitch for a strike. Schwartz this season hitting .285. 1 home run, 14 RBIs. Not afraid to take his walks either. 13 walks. That's second most on the team. Behind Michael Donadio. Here comes the 1-1. And this one's going to be swung on, hit to center field. Steven Sensley, the center fielder, will make the running grab. And that will be the end of the inning. But a costly error by first baseman Cody Reynolds. And the Miners grab an early 1-0 lead. As we now head to the top half of the second on your Matthew Miners Radio Network. Bryant Harris leading things off here in the top of the second inning. Miners currently with a 1-0 lead after a costly error by the guy in the on-deck circle, Cody Reynolds. It's a play that probably should have been made, and with 2 outs, it's uncostly, or it proves costly. As the Miners are playing from in front here today. Here comes the 0-1 from Trent Shelton as this one misses outside. The Miners 21-13. The Bucs, meanwhile, 17-19. Bucs 5 games out of first place. And the 0-1 taken inside for a strike. So Brian Harris shakes his head, disagrees with the call by Brad Polk. And he's down on the count 0-2. It's a little bit of a rainy day here. It was pouring this morning. It stopped in the afternoon, and about an hour before first pitch, it started raining again. But we do have some baseball here at Herman Brothers Field. Currently 63 degrees, cloudy, and the rain, as you may see on your live internet feed. But here comes the 2-2 from Trent Shelton. Check swing. He did not go around. So now it's going to be a full count here on Bryant Harris. Here comes the 3-2. Swung on, hit to center field. Brooks Stotler, a little bit of a late jump, but he should make the play, and he does. Out in center field to retire Harris for the first out of the inning.
Now batting first base number 20, Cody Reynolds.
So this brings up the guy who made the error over at first base, Cody Reynolds. Probably looking to get on base, perhaps tie up the ball game himself. After the Bucs should have gotten out of that first inning unharmed. But because of the error, Brody Robinson charged with a unearned run. The first pitch from Shelton. Taken for a strike. The 0-1 misses outside. Mentioned there's a lot of home games left to be played here for the Miners after a pretty away heavy schedule in the first week of the season. It's a 1-1 swung on a miss. After today, there's still a couple more games against the Bucs this series. Then we have the Pilots back-to-back nights, and then the Oilers for a doubleheader on Saturday. And then to end the regular season, the Miners have the Oilers on August 3rd. And imagine if the Miners have a finished number 1 or 2 in the standings, there will be more home games here. Miners definitely looking for that number 1 seed, but the Oilers not too far back, sitting at 19-15 on the year, 2 games behind the first place Matsu Miners. Oilers are off tonight. And the 2-2. Check swing. Did he go around? No, says first base umpire Justin Phillips. Is the count now full? But a little bit of a score update. The Chinooks leading the Pilots by a score of 4-2. They're currently in the top half of the 5th inning. They have a doubleheader going on right the second. And the 3-2 pitch is going to be swung on, hit high into shallow right center field. And it's going to be the right fielder, Garrison Schwartz, who makes the grab. 2 away. So 2 flyouts here to begin the top half of the second inning. Aaron Arruda will be the next man up.
Now batting the DH number 7, Aaron Arruda.
The first pitch to Arruda misses outside, ball 1. The 1-0 is going to be swung on, fouled back to the backstop. Miners with a 1-0 lead here. So we are in the top half of the second. Right fielder Ryan Johnson awaits on deck. And the 1-1 is going to be swung on, chopped down the third base line, but this will be foul. The 1-2 pitch going to be swung on, chopped to third base. Angel Armenta cuts that one off and will throw it all the way across the diamond for the third out of the inning. So the Bucs again go 1-2-3 as we now head to the bottom half of the second when we come back on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. So Angelo Armenta, who made the last out of the last inning, at least on the field, is the guy to bat. Angelo Armenta playing third base as the first pitch to him taken for a ball. Armenta hitting .224 on the season. 1 home run, 10 RBIs. He hit a home run, I believe. It was one of the last 2 games against the Pilots. I'm pretty sure it was the Thursday night game against the Pilots. And the 1-1 is going to be swung on, fouled back. Because I believe on Saturday, that was the game the Miners didn't really generate a whole lot of offense. And the 1-2 pitch to Armenta, taken outside, ball 2. It is raining, but it's not necessarily pouring. It's a light drizzle. This one misses again as the count now moves to a full. So here comes the 3-2 pitch from Brody Robinson. And that one's going to be taken inside, ball 4. So back-to-back innings, the leadoff man reaches base via the walk. Yes, Josh Bissonnette will be the next man coming to the plate.
Your shortstop, number 6, Josh.
Still no hits for the Miners, but they lead the ball game by a score of 1-0. A little bit of raindrops here. Hopefully the rain stays away for the most part. Just some scattered drizzle showers, hopefully. But if it goes 5, it's official, and hopefully the Miners keep that lead.
The Miners leading this one 1-0 here. Game 1 of a 3-game series against the Bucs. Robinson again throwing over to Angelo Armenta. Armenta gets his lead. And the first pitch shown bunt pulled back in time and taken for a ball. Armenta has a lead over at first. The 1-0 again shown a bunt, but fouled straight back. Armenta with a bigger lead now, but able to get back to the bag. Harrison left, Sensley in center, and Johnson in right. McCarthy Tatum at third, LJ Hatch at short, Hunter Castles at second, Cody Reynolds at first. Alex Gwinnett doing the catching, he's behind the plate. And the 1-1 taken inside. We've seen it a couple times this year as the Miners trying to lay down a bunt, but the pitcher is struggling to find the strike zone. Miners aren't afraid to take that walk either. And the 2-1 again pulled back, and a payoff attempt over at first by the catcher as Armenta safely diving in. So a 3-1 count. Robinson trying to pitch around Josh Bissonnette. Bissonnette trying to give himself up and advance the runner into scoring position with nobody out. Here comes the 3-1. Shown bunt. Pulls back. Taken for a strike. Josh Bissonnette thought that might have been a little high. But he'll be coming back, and I doubt the bunt signal's still on. So Angelo Armenta over at first. Nobody out. Full count on Josh Bissonnette. Robinson sets. And the payoff pitch. Breaking ball just misses outside. Robinson can't believe it, but it's back-to-back walks here to begin the bottom half of the second inning. As Andy Cosgrove will be the next man up.
Now batting your catcher number 21, Andy Cosgrove.
So Andy Cosgrove is the batter. Cosgrove from Santa Barbara Community College in Kirkland, Washington. He shows bunt early on. This one is going to be laid down, and it's a good bunt, too. This only play is going to be at first base. It's thrown in the dirt. Nice pick by Cody Reynolds at first. As Andy Cosgrove gets the job done, he advances both runners into scoring position. So now Brooks Stotler will be the man up at the plate here. A couple RBI opportunities for him.
Brooks Stotler.
But a great sack bunt by Andy Cosgrove. We've seen that with Ben Taylor's team this season. Just about anybody can lay down the bunt. And it proves to work out. Cosgrove laying down a successful bunt. Runners advance, and now Brooks Stotler here at the plate having a 1-0 count. Infield a little kind of in. Not all the way in, but they're playing pretty shallow. The middle infielders seem to be more in than the corners. And now there's a 3-0 count here to Brooks Stotler. So Brody Robinson in danger of walking his third straight here in the inning. Miners still without a hit. Leading 1-0. Runners on second and third here. Here comes the 3-0. Taking outside for a strike. Dimensions to left, 322. To the left center, 342. And a dead center, 390. 345 to right center and 322 to right field. And the 3-1 pitch to Stotler. Taking outside again, called a strike. Not a good pitch to necessarily swing at. Not Stotler's pitch, but it's a full count here. Here comes the payoff pitch. Breaking ball called strike 3 is Brooks Stotler not taking the bat off his shoulder at all during that AB as he goes down on strikes now. 2 outs here.
Now batting your DH number 17, Jacob Huey.
So Jacob Huey will be the next man. He walked his last time up. So we're here in the bottom of the second already. 3 walks issued by Brody Robinson. Falling behind early on to Jacob Huey, taking that one for a ball. 1-0. Way outside, ball 2. Robinson struggling to find the strike zone. Throwing 21 balls, 18 strikes. So the Miners showing some patience at the plate. The 2-0 swung on, fouled out of play. Miners looking for a couple runs here. But they do lead by a score of 1-0 over the Bucs. Here comes the 2-1. Breaking ball outside, 3-1 now. Let's see what Jacob Huey decides to do on this 3-1 pitch. 3-1, swung on, hit to second base. Castle's going to have a tough play. He's able to make the play over at first to retire Huey, and the Miners will strand a couple base runners. So no runs, no hits, no errors here in the bottom half of the second as we head now to the top of the third where the Miners lead 1-0 over the Bucs here on your Matson Miners Radio Network. Trent Shelton back out here in the top half of the third inning. Miners leading the Bucs by a score of 1-0 here on your Matthew Miners Radio Network. This is game one of a 3-game series here at home against the Bucs. And the first pitch to Ryan Johnson taken for a strike. This will be the last time, or the series will be the last series against the Bucs of the year. Will also be the last game of the regular season against the Bucs. Miners looking to keep it that way. This will be a dangerous Bucs team in the playoffs. Top 4 teams do make it. Bucs currently sitting in 4th place with a 17-19 record. This one's going to be chopped up the middle. Josh Bissonnette gloves and throws. Got him. So 6-3 ground out here to begin the top half of the third inning. As Alex Gwinnett, the next man up. When we mentioned the Bucs, they're always going to be a tough team to face. They're one of 3 teams with a losing record in the ABL. Currently sitting in 4th place. The top 4 teams make it. As of right now, the Miners would be hosting the Bucs in the first game of the playoffs, as this one's going to be lined into left field. Alex Gwinnett getting on with a 1-out single here in the bottom half, or in the top half of the third. So that's going to bring up the second baseman, Hunter Castles. Going to pick off attempt over at first, but Gwinnett diving back safely. Gwinnett with 2 stolen bases has been caught 1 time this summer. This one's going to be hammered down the right field line. This one will be foul. Castles gave it a ride. Didn't clear the fence, but it would have been trouble nonetheless. That one bounced foul by at least 10 feet. But the 0-1 again swung on, fouled, and will reach the seats. Mentioned it'd be the Miners and the Bucs in the first round of the playoffs beginning August 4th. It would also be the Oilers and the Pilots. They'd be playing in Kenai. And you kind of have to feel sorry for anybody who travels down to Kenai. But could you imagine if the Oilers got the number 1? Every team would have to travel to Kenai if they made it all the way. Kenai is 3.5 hours from Palmer. The other locations, meaning the Bucs and the Chinooks, have a little bit of a closer way to go. It's only 2.5 hours for the Bucs and Pilots. Chinooks with 3 hours. But having to stay at the Bingo Hilton for a 3-game set wouldn't be very fun. Miners have already done that twice. Hoping that will be the last time, as this one's going to be ripped into the right center gap. As Brooks Saller does cut that ball off nicely, and runners are going to have to hold. But Hunter Castles with the 1-out double puts the Bucs here in business. Whereas on second and third, 1 out, as LJ Hatch, the top of the order, coming to the plate.
Shortstop number 2, LJ Hatch.
So LJ Hatch started this ball game up with a single. A leadoff single it was for him, and then he was picked off over at first. LJ Hatch hitting .261 this season, 4 doubles, no home runs, 10 RBIs. This one's going to be lined into right field. That's going to score 1 for sure, and the stop sign is going to be put on for Hunter Castles as the Bucs tie up this ball game here in the top half of the third on the RBI single by LJ Hatch.
Now batting third base number 14, McCarthy Tatum.
So McCarthy Tatum will be the next man up. A 1-1 ball game it is now. Go ahead run over at third. Trent Shelton looking for that inning-ending double play. So McCarthy Tatum is the batter. This season he's hitting .257. 1 home run, 4 RBIs for Tatum. And the first pitch from Shelton misses outside ball 1. Tatum in his last at bat grounded out to the third baseman, Angelo Armenta. In his only at bat. Here comes the 1-0. Swung on, ripped down the third base line, but foul. Doesn't get a whole lot closer than that one was. If that's the case, that could easily have given the Bucs the lead there. Would have potentially scored the runner on first, that being LJ Hatch. He does have speed, and after that foul ball, pitching coach Matt Greeley coming out to the mound. The Flash coming out to the mound as you asked Skipper BT what.
Oh, it was not the Flash.
It wasn't the Flash. He
No,
said
no.
it is not the Flash,
It's
but
the hulking. He said it definitely wouldn't be the Flash.
and that's because of his mound visits.
Yeah, it was
Takes him at least 45 seconds to get there.
incredibly slow walk there by Matt Greeley.
And then if you watch his walk back, he puts in a gear a little bit.
I feel like there should almost be a little theme tune that goes with it. It's the Greeley 1-2. 1-2 step.
Well, thanks for singing that song, partner. That was a beautiful
Anytime.
rendition.
Anytime.
Maybe one of these days you'll be able to sing the 7th inning stretch, perhaps the national anthem too.
Maybe.
1-1 is going to actually be a pickoff attempt over at first base. LJ Hatch getting back in safely. Here comes the 1-1. This one's going to be popped into shallow center field as Brooks Siler will make the grab, and everybody will have to hold. So McCarthy Tatum unable to get it done on the sac fly, or supposed to be the sac fly.
Now batting center field number 27, Steven Sensley.
Runner's still in the corners here with 2 outs as potential MVP up to the bat. This guy can pretty much do it all. He leads the league in home runs with 5. Actually tied with Tim Mallard. Or Tim Millard is what it is. It's Tim Millard, Mason Mallard. But Tim Millard getting his 5th home run of the year in this game against the Pilots. Game 1. But Steven Sensley, 5 home runs, 25 RBIs, and is 4th in the league in batting average. So he's looking for that triple to crown.
Yeah, and the voting starting today for Silver Slugger, Player of the Year, Gold Gloves, you name it. All the awards, the voting starting today. I believe we have to have our votes submitted by Friday. They want to announce the winners come playoff time. Steven Sensley most likely getting a vote for Player of the Year. I'll tell you that much. How he might not win that unanimously would be besides me.
It's going to be pretty tough to figure out who else could warrant the MVP type discussion.
Well, when you're talking about a man who leads the league in home runs, RBI, tied for home runs now, but regardless, you still see his name atop of that list. Homers, ribbies, and batting over 300, which is fourth best in the league. Yeah, that's
He definitely beats all the batters.
it's quite a good summer player.
Now he'll have to beat out the pitchers. The 1-1 hit deep down the right field line, and that is a foul ball. Sensley was looking for a 6th home run of the year right there.
It would have been his 6th long ball, 28th ribby.
But fortunately enough, that was foul. Still a 1-1 ball game. The go-ahead run over at third base, that being Hunter Castles and then LJ Hatch over at first base. Sensley up at the plate. And the 1-2 got him to chase, and Cosgrove applies the tag. And the Miners able to strand a couple runners here on base. So a couple hits, 1 run, no errors here in the top half of the third as we now head to the bottom of the third. Tie ball game 1-1 on your Master Miners Radio Network. Levi Jordan leading things off here for the Madison Miners in the bottom half of the third. Levi Jordan scoring the only run of the game for the Miners after they reached base on a fielder's choice. Levi taking that first pitch outside, ball 1. Brody Robinson still on the mound for the Bucs, and the 1-0 misses again. This is the time of the year where everybody starts scoreboard watching. I know we are. We've always been scoreboard watching. But now it really matters, as you may see some of the players and teams around the ABL doing the same. And the 3-0 pitch to Levi, taking up high ball 4. So for the third consecutive inning, Robinson walks the leadoff man.
Now batting your first baseman, number 22, Jake Scudder.
So Jake Scudder, the next man up at the plate, grounded out to the second baseman, Hunter Castles, in his last at-bat.
Speaking of scoreboard watching, bottom of the 6th inning, Chinooks leading the Pilots by a score of 5-3 at Mulcahy Stadium.
Nope, a payoff attempt over at first, but Levi Jordan getting back there safely. Scudder sends this one back to the backstop. Scudder 0 for 1 today, hitting .248 on the season, though. Leads the team in home runs, that being 2, And he also leads the team in RBIs with 21. Levi Jordan with his lead over at first base. And the 0-1 down in the dirt, even things up. But on that pitch, Levi Jordan was certain that Robinson was going over to first as Levi Jordan was heading back to the bag. Unable to get a pretty good read off Robinson, so doubt we see him trying to swipe a bag. And the 1-1 misses inside. And now you get the manager on top of the step. In fact, he's walking onto the field. Perhaps he's not liking what he sees out of Brody Robinson, and the 2-1 taken outside for a strike. So 28 balls, 22 strikes thrown by Robinson. Has walked 4, and this one's going to be fouled off. Miners with 10 games left of the season. Miners currently 2 games up over the Peninsula Oilers. And partner, I want to know what you think the number of wins the Miners need in order to successfully keep that 1 seed. In the last 10 games, what is their record that they need to have in order to secure home field advantage?
Well, the Oilers, if I know how to do math correctly, they have 10 games left as well. They've played in 34. So 10 games, the most they can win is 20. I would say 27 for sure would make me comfortable. So basically the Miners would just have to go 6-4 in their last 10 games.
Yes, Jake Scudder pops up in foul territory as McCarthy Tatum making the grab.
And 6-4, I think, is doable. Could they get it done? Say if they go 500, 500 would put them 26 victories on the year, 26-18 record. I think that can even get the job done. But I think 6-4 or anything better in the last 10 games, and they wrap up the number 1 seed. I could be wrong, but that's what I would imagine. The magic number now is 9, I believe, to wrap up the number 1 seed. We were doing the math earlier. But I believe if they go 27 victories here, which is very doable, they would most likely, in my opinion, wrap up the number 1 seed.
6-4 record is pretty respectable. But again, that all depends on how well the Oilers play. They have 4 doubleheaders in their last 10 ball games. So perhaps that will mess them up a little bit. And if it does, then a 6-4 record probably should do the trick.
And if they win every series from here on out, 2-3, that's exactly what would do it. Anything above 6-4 now would be absolutely shocked if they didn't get that number 1 seed.
And the runner goes, the 1-0, misses inside, and there's not even going to be a throw. So Levi Jordan successfully stealing second.
Looked like Gwinnett having a hard time finding the ears on that one. And Donadio didn't do necessarily the most that he could to get out of the way. Good for him. So Gwinnett, when he came back to fire away, Donadio was somewhat in his way. Not interference, though, and a hard time for Gwinnett once again to find the ears and get in a good position.
And the 2-0 pitch is going to be swung on, fouled out of play. Donadio in his last at bat was able to bring home Levi Jordan from third. It was an E3 charge to Cody Reynolds over at first after the inning probably should have been over. A costly error gave the Miners a 1-0 lead at the time. It is now 1-1. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Misses down low, ball 3. So again, Robinson struggling to find the strike zone. And a score update, bottom of the 6th inning. The Pilots are coming back a little bit. It is a 5-4 game. Chinooks still leading the Pilots. It will be a 7-inning ball game. And the 3-1 misses outside ball 4. And that will be the 4th walk, or the 5th walk now issued by Robinson.
Now batting, your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
So 5 walks. We're not even through the 3rd inning yet.
5 walks and 6 base runners. Remember, Donadio reached on an E3 to score Levi Jordan back in the 1st inning. That was so far the first and only run for the Miners.
Schwartz tries to lay this one down, but he pops it up, and it will get out of play.
So no hits for the Miners still, but they've had plenty of base runners, especially since we're only through 2 1/3 innings here. For their starting pitcher, Brody Robinson.
So runners on 1st and 2nd for the Miners, 1 out. Garrison Schwartz up the plate. He has an 0-1 count. Schwartz not bunting this time around as he swings, and this one's going to be sent into shallow left field. In fact, it's going to be a shortstop, LJ Hatch, that makes the grab. Now 2 outs in the inning.
Now batting, your third baseman, number 4, Angelo Armenta.
So Garrison Schwartz unsuccessful trying to lay down the sack bunt in his first, at least the first pitch. He was swinging away and made that out, but the Miners still with a couple runners on base here. 2 outs this time, though.
That was pitch number 60 by Brody Robinson, and he still has more balls than he does strikes. 32 balls to 28 strikes. And still is yet to give up a hit. Mentioned he did give up, he so far has given up 5 walks, however. 6 base runners, one of them being an E3.
And it's going to be a double steal, and they're all going to advance. So the second stolen base for Levi Jordan of the inning. Michael Donadio picking up a stolen base as well. So both runners in scoring position now. Angelo Armenta looking to bring him home. Armenta walked in his last at bat. Pretty much say that about anybody, though. As there have been 5 walks issued here by the Bucs starter Brody Robinson. So not a pleasant day for him, but it is a 1-1 game. So even though he is giving up the walks, he's not surrendering many runs. Miners looking to capitalize on that, however, and the 1-2 misses inside. The Miners spend their mornings lifting, running, and staying in shape by visiting the Alaska Club. Visit them in Anchorage, Eagle River, Fairbanks, Juneau, and the Matsu Valley. Visit www.thealaskaclub.com for more. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Armenta as he swings. This one's going to be sent into center field. Sensley does not have to move very far, and the Miners strand another couple of base runners here in the 3rd. It is a 1-1 game. We now head to the 4th when we come back on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. So Bryant Harris leading things off here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Snap. Or the top half of the fourth inning, my apologies, as Bryant Harris is the man up to the plate. The 0-1 swung on and missed. Trent Shelton had to work a little bit last inning. Gave up 3 hits in the inning. 2 singles and a double. This time is called here by Bryant Harris, the left fielder. Harris flew out to center field his last time up. But Trent Shelton was able to get out of that third inning with not much harm. It's a 1-1 ball game, 4 hits, 1 run, and 1 error for the Bucs. Miners with 1 run, no hits, no errors for them. But here comes the 1-2 pitch from Trent Shelton. And this one just misses outside, evens up the count. So a couple Bucs fans in attendance here today as this one called strike 3, and another base runner advances on the drop third strike.
Now batting, first baseman number 20, Cody Reynolds.
I've seen so many balks this summer, as well as drop third strikes, in which players have advanced to first base. It mainly hurt the minors, but we've seen the minors reach base that a couple times that way as well. And payoff time over at first, almost a nice move by Shelton. It was a good move by Shelton, but he almost was able to catch him leaning a little bit. Ryan Harris over at first base. And the first pitch taken inside ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. This one's going to be lined to third. And on to second for 1. They are going to make the play. Angel Armenta diving toward the third baseline. Wasn't sure really what to think about that at the time. But a great diving play. He was able to get the lead runner. Levi Jordan did drop the ball over at second, but they are going to say it was on the transfer. So an important out for Trent Shelton and the Miners defense. As Cody Reynolds does reach on the fielder's choice. Aaron Arruda up. He sends us to third. Another tough play for Armenta, and another tough play for Levi Jordan. And it's going to be on the transfer yet again. So 2 outs. A couple of decent plays by Armenta over at third base. If Levi Jordan comes up with that, probably an inning double play. But they do get the lead runner. So runner at first base. As Ryan Johnson comes to the plate. Ryan Johnson grounded out to short his last time up. And the 0-1 taken outside strike 2. So Trent Shelton 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Still a drizzle going on here at Herman Brothers Field. Trent Shelton sets and a pickoff attempt over at first. Again, back is Aaron Aruda. Here comes the 0-2, swung on out of play. And a final from Mulcahy Stadium as the Pilots walk it off. Man, the Chinooks were sitting comfortably, leading 5-2 in the bottom of the sixth, giving up 2 runs in the bottom of the sixth inning. Unable to score in the top of the seventh, and then in the bottom of the seventh, it was a walk-off triple by Deshaun Kiersey Jr. Oh, that's another tough loss for the Chinooks. They fall to 12-22 as the 0-2 pitch just misses, perhaps outside. It's got to be 10 losses in a row for the Chinooks.
I think so. Wow. Oh, well.
This one's going to be hit down to first. Jake Scudder grabs it and will touch first base. And the Miners get out of the inning unharmed. It's a 1-1 ball game. We now head to the bottom half of the fourth when we come back on your Maxi Miners Radio Network. Welcome back here to Herman Brothers Field. Josh Bissonette leading things off here for the Miners in the bottom of the fourth. Josh Bissonette walked his last time up, so does not have an official AB of the day. 1-0 taken outside for a strike. And something me and my broadcast partner Dan Collins just caught. Glacier Pilots with the win here today. They only have 4 more games after today. Miners have 10. They got 3 off days in a row, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, right before the first round of the playoffs. So they're going to do a lot of scoreboard watching at the end of the season.
Yeah, their last regular season game is July 31st. They don't play any games in August. At least that's the state right now, unless they have to make anything up, which at the moment they don't, to my knowledge.
And the 2-2 is going to be popped up, and play is going to be made by Hunter Castles.
Now batting, your catcher number 21, Andy Castro.
So the Pilots' last game is against the Miners. At least during the regular season, that is. And they got 3 consecutive days in which they are going to be scoreboard watching. And as of right now, it's not going to be a fun 3 days for them. But they're currently 5 games in front of the Chinooks. It's going to be really tough for the Pilots to miss the playoffs now. And the 1-0 is going to be fouled. The Chinooks 12-22 now. Man, that's a very tough loss for them. A 3-run lead going in the second to last inning and blowing that. A 1-1. Jake in for a strike. 1-2 now. This is Andy Cosgrove at the plate, who had a beautiful sacrifice bunt back in the second. However, the Miners were unable to score after that. And the 1-2 misses outside, evens up the count. So the Miners' magic number to advance here today, at least advance to the playoffs, is 3. Well, now 2. It's now 2 after the Chinooks loss. The Miners winning another Chinooks loss today. The Miners could be into the playoffs successfully. But as of right now, it's 9. Magic number is 9 for the number 1 seed. As a 3-2 pitch is going to be swung on, fouled. This one just getting out of play. Here comes the payoff pitch from Robinson. Misses inside, ball 4. So the 6th walk of the day issued by Robinson.
Now batting your center field,
Still has not given up a hit, though.
Stotler.
Gotta feel like it's one of those Edwin Jackson no-hitters going on. He threw a no-hitter for, I believe, the Arizona Diamondbacks a while ago. Walked 9 batters. Did not give up a hit. So Brooks Soller showing bunt here. Taking that one outside, ball 1. Wouldn't necessarily be surprised if Statler lays one down here with 1 out. He is one of the better bunters on this team. In fact, he pulls this. He will have a good shot here to reach base. And Reynolds unable to make the play. So runners at first and second here. On the infield single by Brooks Soller. That's the thing. It's usually you won't see anybody on the Miners bunting with 1 out and a runner at first base, but when it's Brooks Stotler,
It's that Brooks Stotler special.
it's usually not a sacrifice bunt. He always tries to bunt his way on. It's usually down that first base line. Actually, it's never near the line. It's always beyond the pitcher's mound, and it's towards second base.
He's the master of breaking up those no-hitters.
And that's exactly what he did. He broke up the no-hitter today. So the Miners runners on first and second, one out, top of the order, and Jacob Huey up at the plate. Huey today 0 for 1, grounded out his last at bat, but walked to begin the ball game. The 1-1 to Huey. Taken inside, ball 2 now. And the 2-1 swung on and missed. Huey was looking to send this one out of the ballpark. .82 pitches today for Brody Robinson. And the 2-2 pitch misses outside ball 3. Levi Jordan awaits on deck. He would be next. Here comes the payoff pitch. Taken down low. Ball 4 in the 7th walk of the ball game. And the Bucs now having somebody get loose in their bullpen. 7 walks for Robinson. Very unpleasant.
Now batting, your second baseman, number 1, Levi Jordan.
And now you definitely think the Miners have to capitalize here as they have the bases loaded. 1 out as the pitching coach coming to the mound for the Bucs. It is Matt Orloff. Actually, no, it's Ken Hokuff. But it is a 1-1 ball game here, and things are going to be interesting. Levi Jordan, one of the better hitters on this Miners club, coming up with the bases loaded. Bucs 5 games out of first. Bucs looking to win here today, make it a little bit interesting, get a maybe better seed than 4th. But the Miners also looking for a win to secure that number 1 seed. Bases loaded here. Levi Jordan up at the plate. First pitch to him, taken outside ball 1. Still have fans coming through that gate out in center field. And the 1-0 is going to be lined in the center field. Cosgrove will be on third, and a diving grab by Steven Sensley. His throw home is going to be cut off, and the Miners take a 2-1 lead off the sac fly of Levi Jordan.
And that dive right there, risk paying off there, was high risk, very high reward. If that ball gets past Sensley, that's most likely clearing the bases.
Now batting, your first baseman, number 22, Jake Scudder.
So the Miners again retake the lead, 2-1. Is the score. Runners on first and second for the Miners still. Jake Scudder up to the plate. Scudder out of Kansas State. He will be a senior there next year. This is his last season of summer ball. As he takes that first pitch up high, ball 1. Scudder with a few teammates out here in Alaska. Being Jordan Floyd, the closer. And it was Josh Roulette before he was sent home due to an unfortunate injury. And recently Jordan Frederick, who recently made that commitment, but does fly out Strands a couple more runners here, but the Miners are able to take the lead here in the bottom of the fourth off the sac fly from Levi Jordan, giving the Miners a 2-1 lead here. We now head to the fifth on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Alex Gwinnett leading things off here for the Bucs in the top half of the fifth. Keep forgetting who's the home team and who's the away team. So used to the Miners being the away team this season. So he takes that first pitch for a strike. But because of all those away games to begin the year, the Miners with a ton of home games. It's a 9-game homestand here before heading on the road a couple more times before finishing off the season here on August 3rd against the Oilers. And can you imagine what that game could potentially mean for the playoffs if it's going to be very close? Currently, 2 games out are the Oilers of first, as this one's going to be ripped into the left field corner. This one's going to get down. It will short hop the wall. Rounding first and heading for second is Alex Gwinnett, and he will stop there for a second base hit of the day. A single and a double for Alex Gwinnett, as Hunter Castles will be the next man up.
And batting second baseman number 3, Hunter Castles.
That is Gwinnett's second double of the summer. And the other guy who hit the double is up at the plate right now in Hunter Castles. So runner on second, nobody out here in the fifth. Trent Shelton back out on the mound and showed his bunt. And this one will be a foul ball. Picked up in foul territory by Angel Armenta, the third baseman.
I know we talked about this a little bit on the broadcast already, and for the most part throughout the entire season when we give a scoreboard or standings update, with that victory, that come from behind victory in 7 innings in the first game of the doubleheader, Pilots over the Chinooks, the Pilots improved to 19-19, so that puts them at 500.
This one's going to be laid down. Armenta with a tough play. He will not be able to throw out the speed of Castles. This is going to be a bunt single for Hunter Castles. So runners here at the corners here in the 5th inning.
So Gwinnett and Castles going in reverse this time around with their back-to-back hits. In the 3rd inning, Gwinnett had a single. Castles backed it up with a double. This time in the 5th, it's the other way around, a double for Gwinnett and a single for Castles. But what I was getting at earlier, the Matsu Miners They're 8 games above 500. The second place team, the Oilers, they're 4 games above 500. And then the rest of the league, the other 3 teams, Pilots at 500, and the other 2 teams, the Bucs and the Chinooks, below. So only 2 teams so far with winning records.
And this brings up LJ Hatch, who his last time up ended up tying the ball game on his RBI single. Again, looking to tie up the ball game here. And a little bit of a correction from earlier in the broadcast. It's 8 games in a row the Chinooks have lost, not 10. They were 12 and 14 before this losing streak, this long losing streak. And if you want to be a contender here in the ABL, you can't put that many losses together. The 0-1 taken up high, evens up the count. Miners are looking for that 1 seed. Perhaps all these non-conference games that the Oilers are playing could be in the Miners' favor. This one's going to be lined into center field. A leaping grab by Levi Jordan at second. And the first out of the inning, a very important out here for the Miners. As that keeps Alex Gwinnett over at third base. Still 2-1 Miners lead. So McCarthy Tatum is the next man up at the plate. Miners looking for that ground ball to potentially get them out of the inning. You now will be facing Steven Sensley on the on-deck circle. And the Miners have some activity in the bullpen. And the first pitch taken outside for a strike.
You mentioned it, that man warming up in the bullpen. It's the right-handed relief pitcher out of Grand Canyon University, Tyler Wyatt, down there warming up in the pen for the Miners.
Another pickoff attempt over at first. Castle's back in safely. Here comes the 0-1. Swung on and missed. Strike 2 now. McCarthy Tatum began the at-bat looking at a called strike, which he was not in favor of. Now he swings and misses here. Bucs looking to get their potential MVP guy up to the plate this inning. He is on the on-deck circle. That being Steven Sensley, leading the league in home runs and RBIs, 4th in the league in batting average. So he's a contender for that triple crown. Definitely one of the best hitters here in the ABL this summer, if not the best. And the 0-2 misses outside. But when you're talking about the MVP race, he is a name that you have to bring up. But at the same time, you got to wonder, is there going to be a pitcher that could potentially win the MVP?
Depends if people allow to vote that way. I mean, I'm sure they can. I don't know if that's necessarily the route they would go.
But the 1-2 is going to be chopped up the middle. It's going to be a tough play that will score 1 run, however, as Armente's play is only going to be at first base for the second out of the inning. So McCarthy Tatum with the RBI ground out. And now this brings up the guy the Bucs really want, Steven Sensley.
batting, center fielder number 27, Steven Sensley.
So Steven Sensley is up to the plate. Hitting .300 this year. 7 doubles, a home run, 7 doubles, a triple, 5 home runs, and 23 RBIs. And the first pitch to Sensley taken down low, ball 1. The Bucs have activity in their bullpen. Wonder if that's got to be the end of the day for Brody Robinson. And the 1-0. Breaking ball called a strike on the outside part of the plate. Evens things up at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch misses down low. And a good stop by catcher Andy Cosgrove. Going to his knees, keeping that ball in front of him. As Daniel Bees from Gonzaga University warming up in the Bucs bullpen, we imagine we're going to be seeing him come out. 2 runs on 6 hits, 1 error for the Bucs. 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors for the Miners. And the 2-1. No, he steps off. And the 2-1 pitch going to be swung on, fouled out of play. It is a tie ball game, 2-2 here in the top half of the 5th inning. The Bucs tying the ball game up this top half of the inning. But both times the Bucs have come back to tie up the ball game. This time they're looking to take the lead, as it's arguably the best hitter in the league up at the plate right now. Steven Sensley. And the 2-2 swung on and missed. Sensley going down on strikes for the second time today, as Trent Shelton gets a very important strikeout here to end the top half of the 5th inning. But the Anchorage Bucs able to grab another run here today on the RBI groundout by McCarthy Tatum. It is now a 2-2 ball game as we now head to the bottom half of the 5th right here on your Maximum Miners Radio Network. So new pitcher here on the mound for the Anchorage Bucs. It's going to be Daniel Bees from Gonzaga University. Michael Donadio up at the plate here in this 2-2 ball game in the bottom half of the fifth inning. And the first pitch called a strike. And officially closed the book on Brody Robinson here today. Went 4 innings pitch, giving up the 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 of which was earned, walking 7 and striking out 1. So 7 walks is a little rough for Brody Robinson, has been struggling to find the strike zone here today. So the Bucs go into their bullpen and Daniel Bees. And the 1-1 pitch is going to be swung on, fouled away. Bees this season making his 11th appearance out of the bullpen. He is 1-0 with a 1.97 ERA. Teammates of Justin Vernia and Gage Berland at Gonzaga. And the 1-2 misses outside, evens up the count. Michael Donadio has been on base both of his at-bats here today. Reached first his first time up on the E3. The 2-2 misses outside. And his last time, he walked in the third. Also recorded a stolen base. So Michael Donadio here with a full count. And the payoff pitch from Bees right back up the middle. And the second base hit of the day for the Matsu Miners.
Now batting in right field, number 18.
Michael Donadio on base all 3 times here today. So Garrison Schwartz will be the batter. Miners have had their leadoff man aboard in 4 of the 5 innings here today. First pitch to Garrison, taken outside. Shorts today 0 for 2, a couple flyouts. The 0-1 from Bees will be swung on, ripped down the line, but foul. Two-two is the score here at Herman Brothers Field. Miners looking to retake the lead. And the 0-2 pitch to Schwartz. Check swing. Did he go around? No, he didn't go, say Silas Drayden, the second base umpire. I believe Garrison Schwartz may have gotten away with one. But Silas Drayden says no, and Garrison Schwartz still alive in the AB. See if he can capitalize. Here comes the 1-2. Misses outside. So it's a 2-2 count here on Garrison Schwartz from Grand Canyon University. Michael Donadio from St. John's over at first. The 2-2 pitch swung on, hit down the third base line. Tatum on to second for 1, and on to first. A double play. A 5-4-3 double play for McCarthy, Tatum, and the Bucs defense.
Now batting is third baseman, number
And
4,
Angelo Armento will be the next man up. Angelo Armento 0 for 1 on the day, walked in the second, and then flew out to center his last time up. Armento looking at that first pitch, taking it for a strike. The 0-1. taken for a strike, and Armenta not loving the call there. But he's down on the count 0-2 here. In the pitch, this is outside. Josh Bissonetta waits on deck. He will be next. Shall Armenta reach base? Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit into right field. Ryan Johnson making the grab for the third out of the inning. So 1-2-3 go to the Miners. We now head to the bottom half of the fifth on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Bryant Harris leading things off for the Bucs here in the top half of the sixth inning. It's a tied ball game at 2. As Harris takes that first pitch for a strike. Tyler Wyatt now on the mound for the Matsu Miners. The 0-1 pitch misses outside, evens up the count. But Tyler Wyatt from Grand Canyon University, 3-1 this season with a 2.39 ERA. This will be his 4th appearance out of that bullpen. But he has made 4 starts on the year as well, so his 8th appearance overall. Behind in the count 2-1 is Wyatt. Bryant Harris reached base on a drop third strike. And a broken bat shatters it actually. Right to short. Josh Bissonette throws across the diamond to retire Harris for the first out.
Now batting, first base number 20, Cody Reynolds.
So the bat pretty much took a beating. Still stayed intact though, but you could see some lumber flying in the infield. But Cody Reynolds, the next man up at the plate here today. He is 0 for 2. A fly out in the second. Then a ground out in the fourth. As catcher Andy Cosgrove gets nailed. He'll be given some extra time to get ready. But he gives the thumbs up to skipper Ben Taylor, so that's definitely good news. I believe to get him a little bit in the throat region.
Yeah, looked like he was pointing to his chin. Same going for Brad Polk, signaling to his chin over there to Ben Taylor. They're both asking him if he's okay. Cosgrove says yes. So that one connecting almost the same way an uppercut would on the catcher, Andy Cosgrove.
So here comes the 1-1 from Wyatt. Breaking ball. Called a strike. Nice pitch by Tyler Wyatt. As Reynolds wasn't sure what to do. He takes that one, but he's down the count now. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, fouled out of play. Two is the score. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Fastball up high, evens up the count. Summer is the perfect opportunity to work on your golf game. The Palmer Golf Course is located right in the heart of Palmer, just about 2 miles from Herman Brothers Field. Call 907-745-4653 for more information. As the 2-2 is going to be popped up into left field. Michael Donadio calls off Josh Bissonette to make the grab to retire Reynolds for the second out of the inning.
Now batting with the DH number 7, Aaron Aruda.
Aaron Aruda reached on a fielder's choice his last time, and on the first pitch, he sends this one into the left field with a 2-out single.
Now batting with right fielder.
The 7th base hit of the day for the Anchorage Bucs. Ryan Johnson, next man to follow. Ryan Johnson today 0 for 2. 2 groundouts. Grounded out to Jake Scudder over at first to end the 4th inning. He's coming up with the runner on first base. 2 outs here. Still a tie ball game. And a payoff attempt over at first, but diving back safely is Aaron Aruda. Here comes the 0-1. Swung on and missed. Now an 0-2 count here on Ryan Johnson, the right fielder. So catcher Alex Gwinnett in the on-deck circle. He will be next. Shall Johnson reach base for the Bucs with a runner over at first base, 2 outs. Aruda or Johnson up in the count. 0-2 runner goes. This one gets away from Cosgrove. The throw down, and he got him. What a play by Andy Cosgrove as he's able to get the thigh of Aaron Aruda. He thought he may have stolen that base successfully, but he was thrown out at second here to end the top half of the 6th inning. So still a tie ball game as we now head to the bottom half of the 6th on your Mass 2 Miners Radio Network. So Josh Bissonnette leading things off here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Still tie ball game at 2. And this one's going to be ripped down the first base line. It's going to be called foul. That's the home plate umpire's call as Silas Drayden went down to protect himself. So it's usually the third base umpire's call on that one. But because he had to hit the deck, it was home plate umpire Brad Polk making that foul ball call. But he's laughing this one off. And there's not really much you can do as an umpire. You have to fall down to avoid getting hit there. This one taken outside. A 1-1 count here on Josh Bissonnette from Baylor University. Daniel B is still on the mound. Here comes the 1-1. Breaking ball. Just misses inside.
Defensive alignment change for the Bucs. Coming in for Steven Sensley is Alan Trejo. And Alan Trejo is going to move from center to short and switch with LJ Hatch. So LJ Hatch goes to the outfield and Alan Trejo in at shortstop. Switching positions with Hatch, officially taking Steven Sensley out of the ball game.
And this one's going to be hit down to second base, and that's going to get through. As Castle is unable to make the play, that's going to be the second error of the ball game, I would imagine, and it will be. So an E4 by Hunter Castles. So for the 5th time in 6 innings, the Miners get their leadoff man aboard. Andy Cosgrove with a sac bunt earlier in the ball game. Wonder if we may be seeing him try to move him over here. With nobody out, he does show bunt, and he lays it down, and it's a beauty. It's going to be a tough play, but actually it's going to be an easy play now. As I didn't think Bees was going to get to that, but he was able to get there in plenty of time, and he was able to make the out over at first. So 2 sac bunts here on the day by Andy Cosgrove, so you got to tip the cap to him. As Bissonnette advances to second base on that sac bunt. And Brooks Stotler now up. Stotler with the first hit of the ball game for the Miners in the 4th inning. It was the first base hit. Miners with 2 here today. Michael Donadio, the other guy with the other base hit. But a runner on second base, 1 out for Brooks Stotler. Here's the delivery. Swung on and gets past the catcher. It's a foul ball. So an 0-1 count here on Brooks Stotler. Bunt singles last time up. So he's 1 for 2 on the day. The 0-1 misses outside. Evens up the count. Here comes the 1-1. Stotler sends this one foul. But a 1-2 count here on Brooks Stotler. Josh Bissonnette over at second base. And the 1-2 misses down low, evens up the count. Should be a scary team to face off against in the playoffs, especially in that first round. Make no mistake, the Bucs, who are 17-19 so far this year, always have a tough game against the Miners. So for the Miners' sake, they're hoping they play just about anybody except the Bucs. Preferably the Chinooks or the Pilots, but realistically it could be the Pilots. Chinooks with this loss here today really hurts their cause here today of making a playoff push. 9 games out of first. 4 games behind the Anchorage Bucs. And this one's going to be chopped to short. Tough play for Alan Trejo. And Stoller is going to beat it out. Trejo unable to throw out the speedy Stoller. So another infield single by Brooks Stotler as Josh Bissonette advances over to third base. So runners on the corners here, top of the order, and Jacob Huey. So 2 singles on the day for Brooks Stotler. So runners here on the corners as Jacob Huey sends this one out of play. Jacob Huey was an all-star. In fact, he was named the All-Star Game MVP. Getting a clutch game-tying home run in that bottom of the 8th inning to tie up the ball game for the yellow squad. And the 0-1 gets away, and Brooks Stotler taking full advantage on that. So runners on second and third for the Miners, 1 out. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from Bees. This one misses outside. So the official ruling is going to be a pass ball. Brooks Stotler advancing into scoring position. Jacob Huey at the plate. Here comes a 2-1 pitch. This one's going to be sent into left field. Josh Bissonette and a backtrack. He's going to score easily as Brian Harris struggled to make the play there. And the Miners retake the lead. Job well done by Jacob Huey, sending this one far enough in the outfield. Brian Harris had to backpedal a little bit as he made the grab, but because his momentum was away from home plate, Josh Bissonette scores easily on the sac fly.
And how's about the night so far for Jacob Huey? Officially 0 for 1 on the night, but 2 walks and a sacrifice fly RBI. So getting the job done in the leadoff spot, doing exactly what a leadoff man is supposed to do, especially with those 2 walks. Comes into the lineup tonight for the Miners and making an impact. Don't necessarily see it on the score sheet because he's 0 for 1, but a big RBI here putting the Miners ahead. And don't forget about those 2 walks.
The 1-0 misses inside ball 2 now to Levi Jordan, who today officially is 0 for 1. The sac fly his last time up gave the Miners the 2-1 lead at the time. Walked in the third and reached on a fielder's choice in the first, but he pops this one up in the infield. As Hunter Castles settles under this, he calls for it and makes the grab. As Levi Jordan flies out here to end the bottom half of the 6th inning, but the Miners, another run for them here today off the sac fly by Jacob Huey gives the Miners a 3-2 lead as we now head to the bottom half of the 7th on your Massey Miners Radio Network. Ryan Johnson leading things off here in the top half of the 7th inning. Tyler Wyatt still on the mound. The first pitch taken for a strike. So Ryan Johnson up to the plate here today. 0 for 2. And the 0-1 pitch is going to be a tough play for Angelo Armenta. That stays in fair territory, and a great scoop by Jake Scudder over at first base as he's able to pick that one in the dirt for the out.
I got to tell you, Angelo Armenta has been flashing the leather tonight. Back in the 4th inning, there was those 2 Fielder's Choice 5-4s that were absolutely fantastic plays by Armenta, both in which he had a dive. And this one, another great play by him to start this inning off.
So Alex Gwinnett's going to be the next man up. He today is 2 for 2. Singled and scored his first time, then doubled and scored his last. So he's the only Buck to score here today as he pops this one in foul territory. Andy Cosgrove looks, and he's not going to be able to make the play as this one reaches the seats. But the Miners now leading 3-2 here. Miners looking to keep the Bucs off the scoreboard here this inning, and hopefully for the rest of the ball game. Be a very important win for either club here today. But for our sake, we definitely hope it's the Miners. Miners looking to improve to 22-13 on the year. So an 0-2 count here on Alex Gwinnett. The pitch from Wyatt fouled into the catcher's glove. Strike 3. Alex Gwinnett goes down for the first time today. 2 outs in the inning.
In a score update from Mulcahy Stadium in Anchorage, the Pilots currently over the Chinooks. The score 7-0 in the bottom of the first inning. So with the way things are looking, it looks like the Chinooks most likely, it's a 7-inning affair, will fall to 12-23 if the Pilots can hold on. So far, so good for them, 7-0. And the Chinooks have been struggling as of late, losing their last 8 games. They're in the basement of the ABL. That would give the Pilots their 20th victory. And if the Miners could hold on here, if both scores hold, they'll clinch a playoff spot.
So a very tough day for the Chinooks so far. In the bottom of the first, Pilots so far with the 7th spot, and they're not done yet. Actually, they just made it 8 now. And the 2-0 is going to be fouled away. It's going to be a single by Nate Eichhoff, scoring Kyle Watson. So an 8-run first inning for the Pilots.
And here's something to think about. The Oilers face the Chinooks, the struggling Chinooks, 4 more times before this season ends. They have 4 with the Chinooks, 3 with the Miners, 3 with the Bucs. So those 3 with the Miners are going to be absolutely huge.
And the 3-1 is going to be ripped over the fence in right field, and it is a tie ball game. Hunter Castles with a solo shot here, tying up the game at 3 apiece. A rocket shot by Hunter Castles. His first home run of the summer. This is a guy who's batting 133 here today. Just recorded his 3rd hit. He is now a triple shy of the cycle.
And activity now in the Miners bullpen. Gage Berlin warming for the Miners.
So a whole new ball game it is. As the Bucs again come right back and tie up the ball game. Three runs on 8 hits and 2 errors for the Bucs. 3 runs on 3 hits for the Miners and no errors. Breaking ball is going to be sent to third. Angel Armenta cuts it off and will throw on to first to end the inning, but a solo shot by Hunter Castles off Tyler Wyatt. He is having himself quite a day. 3 for 3 here today, a game-tying home run here in the top of the 7th. As we now head to the bottom half of the inning when we come back on your Match Miners Radio Network. It'll be Jake Scudder, Michael Donadio, and Garrison Schwartz that do up here in the bottom half of the 7th inning for the Match Miners. Now a tie ball game after the solo shot from Hunter Castles. A triple shy of the cycle for him. And the first pitch from Zach Reed misses outside. Ball 1. But you mentioned a new pitcher on the mound, that being Zach Reed. Reed from the University of Tennessee throws a strike here to Scudder. This summer, this will be his 16th appearance out of the bullpen. He's 0-3 with a 3.79 ERA. And the 1-1 catches part of the plate for a strike again. So a 1-2 count here on Jake Scudder. Here comes the 1-2. Swung on, hit to first, and it will get through the infield. Cody Reynolds unable to make the play there. So a leadoff single for the Matsu Miners as Michael Donadio comes to the plate.
Well, there's no necessarily better way to start off than with getting the leadoff man on after you've just given up the lead in the top half of this 7th. And a good man at the plate right now, Michael Donadio. He's reached base safely in all his plate appearances.
So Michael Donadio up the plate. He's been on base all 3 times as he sends this one to first. Reynolds on to second for 1, and he's able to beat it. Michael Donadio just able to beat the relay.
Now batting your right field, number
So
18,
fielder's choice for Donadio. As Garrison Shorts comes to the plate. So 1 out here in the 7th. Garrison Shorts today 0 for 3. As he sends this one down the first base line, but foul. Shorts mentioned 0 for 3. Grounded out into a double play his last time up. Aside from that, he had a couple flyouts as well. So the general looking to reach base here for the first time. Potentially keep the inning going as this one's going to be lined up the middle. It will get through. Ask and you shall receive. Garrison Schwartz reaches base. Runners on first and second now for the Miners. Angelo Armenta coming to the plate.
Now batting your third base.
So Angelo Armenta coming to the plate here. Runners on first and second for the Miners. And the first pitch to Armenta is going to be popped up. The infield fly rule should be in effect. It is. So Armenta out on the infield fly.
Now batting your shortstop, number 6, Josh Bissonette.
So Josh Bissonette will be the next batter. He reached base last inning on an E4 that went through Castle's legs. Here comes the first pitch to Josh as it's taken up high, ball 1. B sets, or actually it's Zach Reed who sets. Fires inside, ball 2. So that closes the book on Daniel Bees, who went 2 innings in relief here today for the Bucs, giving up 2 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. Did not walk a guy and did not strike out on anybody either. But a 2-0 count. Zach Reed taken inside for a strike. The Miners would love to take the lead here late in the ball game. Bottom half of the 7th inning. It's a tied game. Here comes the 2-1. Misses outside. 3-1 now. Naughty over at second and Shorts over at first, and 3-1 misses outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So another walk issued up by the Bucs pitching staff. As the bases are now juiced, and Andy Cosgrove comes to the plate. Andy Cosgrove today, well, he's having himself a pretty good game. 2 sacrifice bunts, which were beauties, by the way. And he walked and scored in the 4th. So officially has not had an at-bat here today. So the Miners wearing their white jerseys, home whites, green lettering, yellow trim. The Bucs wearing their black road jerseys, gray pants, yellow lettering and numbers with the black trim. So the base is loaded. 2 outs here at Herman Brothers Field. Tie ball game at 3. Cosgrove takes the first pitch outside ball 1. Miners looking for a base hit or a ball 4, or perhaps just lean into a pitch, but not make it totally obvious. The 1-0 is going to be hit to short. It's going to be an easy play for Alan Trejo over there, and the bases will be stranded. So no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 4 left on base for the Miners. As we now head to the top of the 8th, all tied up at 3 on your Matson Miners Radio Network. So McCarthy Tatum leading things off here in the top half of the 8th inning. Gage Berland on the mound for the Matsu Miners. And the first pitch swung on and missed. Gage Berland out of Gonzaga University, making his 13th appearance out of the bullpen this summer. Does not have a decision and also does not have an ERA. The 0-1 misses outside. So that officially closes the book on Tyler White, who went 2 innings out of relief out of the Miners bullpen, giving up 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned. Did not walk anybody and struck out 1. But here comes the 1-1 pitch from Berlin. Up high. Ball 2. So it is a nail biter here. Top of the 8th inning, 3-3. And the 2-1 pitch misses outside, ball 3 now. We mentioned these teams always play a great game, no matter what the team's records are. Record-wise, the Miners with a better team, sitting at 21-13. The Bucs 17-19. Bucs in fourth, the Miners in first. And the 3-1 pitch is popped into foul territory. Jake Scudder calls for it, and he's unable to make the play. So here comes the 3-2. Misses outside, ball 4, and Cosgrove late picking that one up, but then he hustles, realizing that it was ball 4. So Gage Berland walks his first batter after it should have been an out. As catcher Andy Cosgrove just wants to talk to Gage Berland out there. Perhaps settle him down. So Alan Trejo is the batter, but he's not pinch hitting here. Came in a couple innings ago for Steven Sensley. He shows bunt. He lays it down. It's a beauty. Berland's only play is going to be at first base. But he gets the job done. So the sac bunt works as it moves McCarthy Tatum into scoring position with 1 out.
Now batting left fielder number 16, Brian Harris.
So you got the middle of the lineup to work with here for the Anchorage Bucs. It's always tough to face the middle of the order, but it's been the bottom of the order that's pretty much killed the Miners here today. The 8 and 9 hitters, Alex Gwinnett and Hunter Castles, doing the damage. Those two, 5 of the 8 hits here today. Gwinnett scoring twice and Castles scoring once. So the 8 and 9 hitters scoring all the runs for the Bucs here today. Pitching coach Mac really up and out of the dugout at the pitcher's mound. He now heads back to the dugout here and perhaps just discuss some strategy. But Bryant Harris is up at the plate. I guess it's a good thing that Steven Sensley comes out of the ball game so you don't have to face him. It's always a dangerous bat. But Alan Trejo batting for him, able to bunt over his teammate as this one's hit to short. This and that with the high throw, and Scudder with the tag. If that gets past Scudder, the Bucs would have taken the lead, but the runner advances to third base here with 2 outs. A great play by Jake Scudder, and not only making the grab, but applying the tag before Harris could touch first. So runner at third, 2 outs, and first pitch taken inside, ball 1 to Cody Reynolds, who today is 0 for 3. Flew out to left field his last time up. And the Miners have some activity in the bullpen. It's Jordan Floyd, Miners closer, as this one's going to be ripped down the left field line. That's a fair ball, and the Bucs are going to take their first lead of the ball game. As Cody Reynolds into second base with an RBI double. So an unearned run charged to Gage Berland.
Now batting, the DH number 7.
And the Bucs take the lead. 4-3 now is the score. Aaron Aruda now coming to the plate. Aaron Aruda today 1 for 3, singled his last time up, but was thrown out at second base to end the 6th inning. The Bucs leading 4-3 over the Miners here in the top of the 8th. And the 1-0 misses down low, 2-0. So Berland should have been out of this inning after a dropped foul ball. Jake Scudder in foul territory, unable to make the play. And it proves costly. He was able to reach base on a walk. He later comes around to score off the double of Cody Reynolds. So the Bucs with a 4-3 lead. Here comes the 2-1 from Berland. Broken bat hit to second base. Levi Jordan grabs and throws on over to first. And the inning is finally over. But the Bucs retake the lead on an RBI double by Cody Reynolds. 4-3 is the score as we now head to the bottom half of the 8th on your Matsu Miners Radio Network. Brooks Stotler leading things off here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 6 outs to go. That's taken for a strike. But the Bucs leading 4-3. Miners need to score some runs. And he lays down or at least he tries to lay down the bunt. But this one goes back to the backstop. But an 0-2 count here on Brooks Stotler here today. Zach Reed's still on the mound for the Bucs. And the 0-2 missed it outside. Comes the 1-2. Swung on, popped in the infield. Alan Trejo will make the grab as he falls down awkwardly, as he's really frustrated as he appears to be hurt. He throws that ball in with his glove.
Yeah, and something is bothering Trejo there. I don't know if he twisted his ankle. At first, I don't know why he went to the ground. It wasn't in a diving motion, and it didn't really necessarily look like he tripped. I'm guessing he just twisted his ankle and needed to go face plant on the grass for a little bit.
And Trejo is waving everybody off, but they're going to come out anyway. That's being the trainer and their skipper. He seems to be walking around, but it doesn't look like he's okay. I don't know if he's frustrated. Obviously, it's never good to roll an ankle or anything. But the Bucs have to make sure he's okay if he's going to stay into this ball game.
6 o'clock games, Tuesday through Friday. AARP Day tomorrow, followed on Wednesday by celebrating Palmer Day.
So that's going to bring up Jacob Huey.
The Pilots will be here on Thursday and Friday for Ellen Reed Day and Tudor Bingo Center. And Center
Huey today is 0 for 1.
On Friday night.
A sack fly his last time up. A couple of walks and a ground out in this ball game. It appears Alan Trejo is at least okay. He's staying in the ball game, so that's definitely a good sign for the Bucs. So Jacob Huey up to the plate here today, 0 for 1. Here comes the first pitch from Reed as this misses outside, ball 1. Miners still trailing 4-3 here against the Bucs. And a score update from Mulcahy Stadium. The score is now 8-2. Chinooks trying to claw back a little bit. So they desperately need a win. If not, it would be their 9th in a row. And a 2-0 taken for a strike. Thought it might have missed outside, but it did catch part of the plate, says umpire Brad Polk. The 2-1 misses outside, 3-1 now. And the Miners have some action in the bullpen, that being Jordan Frederick, a recent Kansas State commit. So 3-1 count to Huey. Sagan for a strike. Now 3-2 count. Here comes the pitch. Misses inside, ball 4, and Jacob Huey walked for the 3rd time here today. Miners with a very important base runner here on base, looking to bring him home and tie the game up at 4. But Levi Jordan now up to the plate.
Coming in as a pitch runner for the Miners out of Fairbanks, Alaska, and Arizona Western University, number 9, Scooter Bynum.
So Scooter Bynum pinch running for Jacob Huey. I doubt we see Levi Jordan try to lay one down, but would not be surprised to see Bynum perhaps swipe a bag. This one's going to be a tough play. It's chopped down the third base line. It's going to be a tough play, and it brings Reynolds up the line, and everybody's safe. So it works. A tough play. It kind of works as a bunt, like a perfectly placed bunt. And the first 2 Miners, well, not the first 2, but 2 of the first 3 reach base here in the inning. And Jake's got her up to the play here today.
Yeah, that would have had to have been an absolutely fantastic play by the pitcher, Zach Reed, because that one was chopped high in the air. And then by the time it fell and dribble, you knew it just kind of stuck in the grass there. Was not going to roll foul. Reed had to hustle over and no chance to get Levi Jordan, who does possess a little bit of speed on this club.
So Jake Scudder up at the plate. And the 1-0 taken for a strike, but Scudder has some words for home plate umpire Brad Polk. Runners on first and second for the Miners. 1 out. Miners trailing 4-3 to the Bucs. Here comes the 1-1. Misses outside ball 2. And for what seems like the first time today, there's a little bit of life here in the crowd at Herman Brothers Field. Attendance here today, 462. Here comes the 2-1. Misses outside ball 3. Michael Donadio awaits on deck. He's been on base every single time here today. But Jake Scudder with a 3-1 count, a hitter-friendly count. There comes the pitch. Swung on and missed.
And that was a big hack there by Jake Scudder, and you can't be upset with him taking a hack there. It would have been strike 2 regardless. Unfortunately, not connecting there. He had a nice, powerful swing on that one. If he connected, it probably would have been trouble for the Bucs.
So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, hit to second. Castle's on to second for 1, and on to first for the inning-ending double play. So an inning-ending double play for Jake Scudder and the Miners. As the Bucs still lead 4-3, we head to the top of the 9th on your Match Miners Radio Network. So Ryan Johnson leading things off as he sends us over to first base, and Scudder unable to make the play, but he's able to cover in time. Give credit to Jordan Frederick as well as Jake Scudder staying with that ball. And a 3-1 put out here to begin the top of the ninth. Alex Gwinnett, the next batter, having himself quite the day. 2 for 3, a single and a double. He's came around to score twice. And the first pitch misses inside, ball 1. Mentioned new pitcher on the mound for the Miners. It is Jordan Frederick out of Scottsdale Community College, who recently committed to Kansas State University to be a Wildcat. This 1-0 misses inside, ball 2. This season, he is 0-1 with the 2.63 ERA. This will be his 3rd appearance out of the bullpen, but his 5th game overall. As he finally finds the strike zone, 2-1 now. Here comes the 2-1. Misses outside. 3-1 now. So here comes the 3-1 from Jordan Frederick as this one misses up high, ball 4. And a 1-out base runner for the Bucs. As Hunter Castles comes to the plate, he's a triple shy of the cycle. Mentioned earlier on, it's the 8 and 9 hitters, Gwinnett and Castles, who's done the damage here today. They had 5 of the 9 hits for them. 3 of them coming from this guy, Hunter Castles. A double, a single, and a home run. Yeah, big off attempt over at first, but diving back safely is Alex Gwinnett. First pitch gets away from catcher Andy Cosgrove. Runner goes. The throw down to second. And a tag, not in time. So we'll pass ball will be the official scoring. So the 1-0 count here on Hunter Castles, runner on second base. That being Alex Gwinnett, and the 1-0 pitch. This is up high, ball 2. Catcher Andy Cosgrove calling time. The 2-0 check swing, fouled. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Actually, no, he steps off the mound. So here comes the 2-1. Called a strike, evens up the count. Here comes the 2-2. Swung on, foul out of play. So it looks like we are receiving word that catcher Andy Cosgrove recently committing to NC State. So congratulations for him and joining the Wolfpack in the ACC as the 2-2 misses outside ball 3. So Cosgrove started off at the University of Washington. Then he transferred to a community college, Santa Barbara Community College, that is, and a pickoff attempt over at second. But back in time is Alex Gwinnett as this one misses outside ball 4. So back-to-back walks issued up by Jordan Frederick. So runners on first and second, 1 out here. As pitching coach Matt Greeley coming to the mound. But we mentioned Cosgrove from the University of Washington to Santa Barbara Community College. Then, with this recent commitment, going to North Carolina State. So congratulations to Andy Cosgrove on that Division I commitment. We saw another pitcher, that being the pitcher he's talking to right now, Jordan Frederick. We saw him commit to Kansas State. So Miners with a couple of junior college players here.
Shortstop number 2, LJ.
Or not junior college, but community college, which is pretty much the same thing. These are some good junior college players as they will be making the transition to Division I. Scooter Bynum also making that Division I change. He will be playing at Northern Illinois. And the first pitch to LJ Hatch, taken for a strike. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled. Here comes the 0-2 from Frederick. This one's going to be chopped to third. Armento's play is only going to be at first as he's able to throw out the speedy LJ Hatch. But the runners advance a base as Gwinnett advances to third and Castles advances to second.
Now batting, third base number 14, McCarthy Tatum.
So 2 outs. McCarthy Tatum now up to the plate. This one's going to be fouled away by Tatum. Miners trailing 4-3. They desperately need to keep it that way heading into the bottom of the ninth. 1 run is possible. So is 2. But it makes it so much more difficult to get that extra run. But Tatum here today 0 for 3. Walked and scored his last time up in the 8th. That was the go-ahead run This one's going to be swung on, fouled out of play. It was the unearned run. It was a play. Probably should have been made over at first base. It was in foul territory, but Jake Scudder, I'm not so sure what happened down there. I'm not sure if he got to the ball late or not, but unable to make the play. So that does go as an unearned run. Got the 0-2. And this is up high. It's a 1-2 count. This game approaching the 3-hour mark. Here in the top of the ninth, here comes the 1-2 pitch from Jordan Frederick. Swung on and missed. Jordan Frederick able to get the Miners out of this inning and keep it a 4-3 game. So no runs on no hits. 2 left aboard for the Bucs. We now head to the bottom of the ninth, where it's going to be the last opportunity for the Miners. Bucs are 3 outs away from stealing their very important win, bringing them closer to 500 on the year. But we will be back on your Massey Miners Radio Network. So Michael Donadio leading things off here for the Miners in the bottom of the ninth. It'll be Donadio, Shorts, and Armenta, the do-up. Miners looking to tie up the ball game, perhaps win it in walk-off fashion. As Wyatt Mills now comes on the mound for the Anchorage Bucs. Donadio taking that first pitch for a strike. But Wyatt Mills out of Gonzaga University this season, 2-0 with a .67 ERA. So he's been very solid out of that Bucs bullpen. This will be his 10th appearance out of there. The 0-1 is going to be chopped to first, but foul. So it's Rally in the Valley time here in Palmer, Alaska. Here comes the 0-2. Swung on, hit towards second base. Hunter Castles gloves and throws on over to first to retired Donadio for the first out of the ninth.
Now batting, your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
Garrison Schwartz, the next man up at the plate. A single his last time up in the seventh. He is 1 for 4 on the day. Here's the first pitch to Schwartz, and it's taken inside ball 1. The 1-0 swung on, fouled, out of play. Now's the time you desperately need some base runners. Can't really rely on the long ball. So Miners don't really have a true slugger on this team. At least it doesn't appear that if you look at the home run category. Nine different Miners have a home run at this point, but nobody has more than 2. That being Jake Scudder is the 2-1 pitch. Again, hit to second. Castles with trouble with that one, but he is able to throw out Schwartz over at first base for the second out of the inning. So back-to-back groundouts. So Hunter Castles over at second base, and the Miners are down to their final out. As Angelo Armenta coming to the plate. Oilers out of action here today. If the Miners do lose, the Oilers gain a half a game on the Miners. Here comes the 1-0. Swung on, blooper. This should fall, and it will. And the tying run over at first base. Left fielder Brian Harris having trouble with that one as Armenta had trouble. And it looks like there's going to be a pinch runner as A.J. Lee coming into the ball game for Armenta. So the tying run over at first, that being A.J. Lee, the winning run at the plate here with 2 outs as Josh Bissonette.
Your shortstop, number 6, Josh Bissonette.
And a pickoff attempt over at first. A.J. Lee diving back safely. A.J. Lee grabs his lead over at first. And the pitch. Misses inside ball 1 to Bissonette. Miners trailing the Bucs 4-3 here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Miners down to their final out. Lee grabs his lead over there at first. He's ready on the 1-0 pitch. Catches the inside part of the plate for a strike. Evens things up. Andy Cosgrove in the on-deck circle. He will be next if Bissonette can reach base. And a pickoff attempt over at first. A.J. Lee getting back there safely. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit in the air in left center field. But Brian Harris calling for it, but it's going to be the shortstop Alan Trejo, who makes the grab to end the ball game. So a 4-3 final here at Herman Brothers Field here today. The Miners fall to 21-14. The Anchorage Bucs gain a full game. They now move into a tie for third place with the Glacier Pilots. As of right now, the Pilots currently ahead of the Chinooks by a score of 8-2 down in Mulcahy. But the Miners fall here today. It was not a bad effort by this Miners ball club.
No, not at all. And it's going to be a tough loss there for Gage Berlin. It's going to be his first loss of the season. He has still yet to give up any earned runs. He's going to leave the ball game, as mentioned, still without giving that up. Wyatt Mills obviously picking up the save. Zach Reed with the W. But for that one run, the slimmest of margins, the Miners lose here by. It was under, and it was a close ball game the whole way out, and that's just what it is. They drew blood first again in the first inning. Who would have thought that's what they are? They are masterful here in the first inning, the Miners are. And, Trent Shelton didn't necessarily have his best stuff, but he was on at certain points of the game, and he battled, and he only gave up a couple runs. And, you really have to be proud of at least the fight these boys put up. And if you want to look at the bright side, still 7 games above 500 and in first place. However, the Oilers, who are not in Conference League action tonight, or in action at all, rather, they have the 2 non-league games against the Gold Panthers the next 2 nights. But the Oilers will now jump to a game and a half behind the Miners, so the Miners really have to hopefully win this series the next 2 games.
Absolutely. Well, we will step aside, and it will be the Napa Auto Parts postgame show. I'll be joined by skipper Ben Taylor and Dan Collins with one of the players here today. So we will step aside, and when we come back, we will begin the Napa Auto Parts postgame show on your Madison Miners Radio Network. Welcome back on your Napa Auto Parts postgame show. I'm currently here with the minor skipper Ben Taylor and coach. A tough loss here today against the Bucs. 4-3 was the final score. But first of all, I want to ask you on what your thoughts were of today's starter Trent Shelton.
Yeah, Shelley wasn't as crisp as usually is, and it just the arm wasn't working as easy as it has been in the past. But he gave us a real gutsy start and kept us in the ball game. He did a good job for us.
Talk about some of your relievers. They did a pretty good job for the most part. Just a mistake pitch by Tyler Wyatt to one of the guys, and then Gage Berland probably should have been out of the 8th inning if it wasn't for
Yeah,
ball.
This in this league, guys can hit, man, and it don't matter whether you're the leadoff hitter, the 3-hole guy, or the 8-hole guy. If you fall behind the guys, and you're gonna get hit hard, and Tyler's really competes hard. It's just I'm sure he wishes he could have that pitch back, but that's just tough luck. I mean, it's just one of those things. We weren't as crisp on some things as we have been in the past. And, the nice thing is now we get back in that stretch where we start playing every day, and it's a little easier to get into a groove. And, the guys will be bounced back just fine.
So, yeah, bouncing off that point by you, do you think having the 2 off days and 3 days plays a little bit of a factor after?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't change the fact you got to drive guys in and make pitches and catch baseballs. I mean, so, it's nice to be home for, a week or so here with games, and you just gotta kind of regroup and adjust and readjust and come back out ready to go tomorrow.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for the
Thanks,
time.
man.
We'll be right back on your Napa Auto Parts postgame show, where Dan Collins will be with Jacob Huey on your Massey Miners Radio Network.
Dan Collins alongside Miners do it all, man. Designated hitter, first baseman, pitcher Jacob Huey. And you said Pops is probably watching.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time to hear how he answers your questions this time around. Jacob, just another tough day at the office for the most part, and it was another very close game against the Bucs. Seems like whenever the Miners face the Bucs, it could go either way. It's a flip of the coin.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're a good team. They're good coaches, and they ended up on top today.
Absolutely. And then you get the leadoff spot today. We've seen you hit in the lineup a few times, sometimes clean up, sometimes maybe lower in the order 6th or 7th. But as a leadoff man today, a few walks and a pretty big sacrifice fly, especially at the moment for the RBI for you. So it was your approach a little different there in the leadoff spot? We mentioned the few walks you drew, but was it just maybe the same approach there at the plate?
No, it's just get on base. I'm the table starter leading off, so I just need to get on base for the cleanup hill, and all the other hitters behind me can get me moving around.
So we look at the standings here now. It looks like that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Check that, 6 games at home before you guys get back to the road. A couple of away games against the Pilots, Chinooks, and then the Oilers. But still plenty along of this home stretch here. So what's just the thought psyche for this club now going in? Still a lot more games to play here at Herman Brothers Field before the season wraps up. What should be the proper mindset for this ball club?
Use the crowd to our advantage. I mean, we have the home field advantage, and when the crowd gets going, that means we're doing good. So just give the fans something to cheer about. So that just means we're doing good.
Absolutely. And I feel like we mention this all the time about this club, the resilience, even when it came to the bottom of the 9th inning, getting that tying run on base, the go-ahead run, what would have been the potential game-winning run at the plate. So what can you just say about this club's resilience, even in close games or when it feels like you might be a little depleted still, never giving up. And like I said, even that bottom of the 9th inning showing a little bit of fight.
I mean, this team's on the grind. We don't give up. We just keep fighting and just find a way to win. And I mean, if we don't, then we just bounce back the next day with work, and it's just another day.
Well, we hope you guys will bounce back tomorrow. And Jacob Pugh getting a little bit of that OTG on the grind in there. Did the players make sure you put the OTG in there for the post game press conference?
Nah, that was me.
That was all Huey. All right, folks. When we come back, it will be myself and my broadcast partner here to wrap up your Napa Auto Parts post game show. Thanks, Jacob.
Cool.
Welcome back on your Napa Auto Parts post-game show. Jordan Swick, Dan Collins here with you. And Dan, it's just one of those tough losses for the Miners here today. It wasn't necessarily a bad loss. It's just one of those where you definitely think that, you have to win one of these ball games. And they were playing from ahead here today, and just a couple of mistake pitches, and that ends up hurting the ball club.
Yeah, that's why you can never count this Bucs team out, and that's exactly what I told Huey. I said it's a tough day at the office, not tough day as in that the Miners did anything bad. It was more or less a tough day at the office because it's a tough pill to swallow because you definitely could have won this game, and that's just the way baseball works, or any sport for that matter. Even when there's some games where you could win, it's that simple could have, should have, would have type of day at the ballpark, and they lose this one. And, it's just what Huey said. He said, tomorrow we're going to have to come back and get on another winning streak. We mentioned that the Oilers now jump to 1.5 behind the Miners. They're not going to play a conference game for a couple of games yet. And all you have to do, we've mentioned it, is take the series 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3 the rest of the way out. So the Miners, even though you dropped game 1, you still have to have the mindset of, okay, so what? Let's go out and take the next 2 against the Bucs, and it's all fine. You take 2 out of 3.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. But the Miners do fall 21 and 14 so far here today in conference play. Like my broadcast partner Dan Collins just mentioned, the Oilers in second place now, a game and a half. So what was a comfortable lead for the Miners just a week ago, not too comfortable anymore. And now it's going to be the Miners and the Oilers battling for first and second place here in the ABL.
Yeah, and it seems like that's going to be the case the whole way out. There's only a little under, 10 games for a lot of teams, and some teams under that 10-game mark left in the Alaska Baseball League. So if you look at how close the standings are now, the Oilers are going to jump to a game and a half, and depending on what the Pilots do, they might even jump a whole extra game if they hold on to that that big lead against the Chinook. So it's basically going to be tight the whole way out, but it doesn't necessarily matter if it's tight the whole way out. It'll keep things suspenseful, but if we finish number 1, doesn't matter how we do it. Let's just hope we get there, and then it really doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Well, the magic number to get that number 1 seed is at 9 games. That will still hold true with the Oilers off and the Miners lost here today, but the magic number just to make the playoffs is at 2. And, the Miners were looking to maybe clinch that here today with a win and 2 Chinooks losses. But as of right now, at most, they could be 1 away from that playoff clinching win.
Yeah, and you would think that is going to come sometime within this week, whether that be tomorrow or a couple games from now. The Miners will officially punch their ticket to the postseason, even though you're kind of already chalking it up as a postseason visit for this club. But officially, it hasn't gotten here yet. Once it does, perhaps it will take a little bit of, the burden off their shoulders. But regardless, this team, they already expect to be in the playoffs. They're really fighting for that number 1 seed. We were just talking with Jacob Huey right before his interview while you were interviewing Coach Ben Taylor, and we told him it was 1.5 game now lead. The Oilers right behind him, and he said, oh boy, there's one thing for sure they don't want to do if it works out that way is travel to Kenai. So let's just hope that's not the case. And you look at it right now, the Miners right now with the lead. So basically, they hold their destiny in their own hands, depending on what spot of the playoffs they want to be in.
Absolutely. Well, that just about wraps things up here at Herman Brothers Stadium, or Herman Brothers Field, rather, at the Alaska State Fairgrounds. Game 1 is in the books. Game 2 will be tomorrow, same time, 6 o'clock, first pitch, 5:55 pregame show. Dan Collins on the play-by-play, myself on the color tomorrow here at Herman Brothers Field. But before we go, we'd like to send a few thank yous. Denise and Pete Christopher for allowing us to be on the broadcast all summer long, as well as our media manager, Josh Grissom. And yeah, that just about wraps things up here. And for my broadcast partner, Dan Collins, I'm Jordan Swick saying so long from Herman Brothers Field as the Miners fall today by a score of 4-3, Game 1 here against the Anchorage Bucs. So Game 2 again tomorrow. We'll catch you on the flip side right here on your Massey Miners Radio Network.